Welcome to Asia Pacific Domain Name System Forum hosted by MyNick and ICANN. This first of the Asia Pacific Forum will be held in March this year. Our team is Beyond Technology and Revolution of DNS, and this particular APAC DNS Forum in 2022 will be featured a multitude of topics discussing the role of DNS from the multiple perspectives. Now, the forum is envisioned to gather our regional DNS industry expert and the wider community to discuss the latest development opportunities and challenges in the domain names marketplace. It is also envisioned to be a platform for our regional DNS community to network, exchange ideas, and explore collaboration and opportunities. In a way, it is also a lead-up event to the international community is slated to be gathered in Kuala Lumpur for ICANN 75 September this year. Now, this is the fifth of the sixth of the pre-event, and which is aimed to do a couple of things. First one is to set the level and introduce the basics so everybody can join and into the conversation during the actual event. And second, seed the key topics which can discuss more in depth during the actual forum. Today's topic is digital initiative in the APAC region. So thank you everybody who can take the time to join us today. Now, for this particular initiative, okay, we have two particular aspects that we want to speak about. The first one, what are some of the digital initiatives in the region that will help SMEs? The second, why are domain names still relevant for SME? So to help us understand this, let me introduce some of the speakers to our list. So the first one is Tom. Welcome, Tom.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. So let me give a brief about Tom. Tom is a researcher, okay, from Net Chinese. He has been with the company since 2017. So his work entails internet policy, ICANN relationship, partner relationship, and statistical and trend analysis. So Tom is first meeting with the ICANN was in ICANN 60. So you can see Tom's been around for a while. Right. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, David.
So second, I'd like to introduce is Mingfen. Hello, Mingfen. How are you? Mingfen, you're on mute.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, okay. Hi, Mingfen. Hi, Mingfen is from a registrar, 22net.nic. Okay, she's from China. She's been in the domain space for almost 10 years. And her role is actually International Affairs Manager, and she takes care of the compliance study for policy and work with all registry operator partners for the business development. So welcome, Mingfen. Thank you, Mingfen.
Thank you, everyone.
Next on the list is Faris. Hello, Faris.
Hi, David, and all the guests here. Good morning.
Yes. Well, good morning, Faris. So Faris is the Chief Marketing Officer of MyNick. It's an agency under the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia, which is the official registry operator for .my. He joined MyNick in 2018. He holds an MBA in Strategic Transformation and also Certified Transformation Leader from Chartered Management Institute of United Kingdom. Now, he has 20 years of working experience in sales, marketing, business development. And in fact, this guy essentially loves to watch movies, and two of the most favorite movies, and he can watch it over and over again, is The Godfather and The Last of Mohicans. Thank you, Faris.
Thank you, David.
Yes. All right. Now, before we begin, we just want to do a quick recap. So we have done 4 webinars before this. And when we started off the first webinar, we're covering what exactly is the DNS and why it's important. And it touches on the basic about how we use it and how we connect to the DNS. The second webinar, we touch on the state of domain industry, which covered the registry, the registrar, subscription base for small, medium-sized businesses, and how some of the unique cases we heard during the second webinar was about taking domain name as an investment. The third webinar is on search engine optimization and domain names, and you have to understand how important the role of SEO in the so-called doing business, and how it actually give the opportunity for people to search. And therefore, in the pandemic case, this has become more relevant. So we touched on that in the third webinar. Well, the fourth webinar, well, we actually come to the best DNS best practices, and this is where we talk about how we shared how DNS abuse measures were being done, what was the what technology being available, and we spoke about DNS site security practices as well during this fourth webinar. So today we talk about the regional initiative. So some of these all this webinar can be watched over at our YouTube and also our current platform. Now let's begin by a bit of research actually I found in the McKinsey. So in the one of the McKinsey research actually mentioned that since the pandemic started, the business more and large has accelerated to moving to digital. In this case, some of the acceleration of the service and product offering has accelerated by 7 years globally, and some of them actually come to 10 years in Asia Pacific and 7 years in EU. So this digital initiative is where we are now, and I'd like to hear from some of the speakers and see what are they doing in their particular economies and how this actually works out for both of these SMEs. So to begin this conversation, we'd like to welcome Tom from NetChinese. Hello, Tom.
Hi, David. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tom from NetChinese.
Hi. Okay. So let's give a bit of an introduction, and could you tell the general audience who exactly is NetChinese, and also a bit of background on the NetChinese itself?
Okay, sure. NetChinese is an ICANN accredited registrar, a TLD registry, and a TLD operator with over 20 years of industry experience. And also, I'd like to share my slide to show the audience. Okay. Can everybody see my slide?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. NetChinese provide the following services. We provide domain name registration services, brand protection services, SSL certification, and SEO consulting services, and we also help with content abuse mitigation. And NetChinese has also established our own domain name research center so that we can better understand the market and our clients. Because NetChinese believes when we better understand all these, we can better help our clients. Thank you, David.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. You actually have one thing interesting there, which mentioned about brand protection. Right. Okay. Now, Tom, what are these initiatives that your organization has done in supporting the SMEs digitization?
NetChinese regularly hosts online seminars to share the recent developments in domain name policies. And we also share all this information on our website. And with the ongoing SME digitalization, NetChinese is here to support Taiwan's SMEs by providing SSLs for their site security. And also, we can also help them with their online brand protection with our strategic layout for domain names. And also, we can also help them with domain name buybacks and also domain name dispute services to help them protect their intellectual properties. Thank you, David.
Okay. All right. That sounds interesting. In any of your so-called, since you're doing research, in any of research, so do you have any sort of insight about how this helped the SME, and give some audience about what you have discovered so far? I think that's probably will help to give some frame around this digitization itself.
Sure, David. As stated previously, NetChinese, we have our own in-house research center for domain names. And then we also make use of all these reports that they've made to help us understand our clients and try to help them gain a competitive advantage. So this moves on to my next slide, which is going to focus on Taiwan's SMEs and how they select domain names and TLDs. First, we come to this slide. I'm showing you some of the stats using .com.tw to show how Taiwan's businesses make use of domain names. And in 2017, we can see majority of them have operational hosting sites. And then we have 14% utilizing URL redirection to redirect their domain name to other sites, with about just over a quarter at 27% with idle website, which means the site is not in use. And now when we move on to 2019, we can see that hosting has declined to 44%, with hosting error steadily maintaining at 8%. And then we have URL direction having a visible or significant lead to 24%, with idling sites at 22%. What I'm trying to point out is that we can see that the operational and idling domain names are decreasing by 5% each over the past 2 years, with URL redirection increasing significantly by 10%. And to our findings that most of these domain names have been used, or the contribution to this increase is because of marketing or brand name protection, so they may redirect their sites to other locations where they have a site ready, or maybe Facebook's to introduce brand and marketing. And then with this in mind, I'm moving on to my next section. This, we can see Taiwan's business selection of TLDs for their domain names. We can see from this slide that majority of the businesses still use .com.tw, with about 8% using .tw related domain names. So the total percentage for .tw related domain names is nearly 60%, with .com domain names following at 35%. The rest, like other GTLDs or other CCTLDs, and the new GTLDs constitutes of over 5%. With this in mind, we can see that Taiwan is a very internationalized market, that we welcome a diverse array of TLDs or domain names in the market. And NetChinese is willing to work with interested parties also to see if we can understand more information about other countries as well. And with this in mind, I want to move on to share a bit of TW promotions that they want to help promote, and see if this will help win more market share. We can see that the first one, the top one, is TWNIC is the TW registry. Sorry, is promoting the domains by offering newly registered companies a free domain name, a free one-year domain name. And it does not necessarily have to be in English, because they're offering IDN domain names, as you can see below, that they are offering Japanese IDNs, Thai IDNs, Korean IDNs, French IDNs, and German IDNs. And we believe that .tw registry and governmental cooperation is the future way forward. Thank you, David.
Okay, that's basically, you're covering all the areas about the what you have done in the research now. So in the other perspective of it, how your customer take advantage of the domains, and how do you have any use case as an example of such a thing that can show that the digitization adoption?
Oh, sure, David. Even though NetChinese is a non-disclosure agreement, I have prepared a case study to share with the audience, or to share with everyone here today. My case study will be focused on Roche, the pharmaceutical firm, and how they protect their brand names Roche, as everyone knows, is a Switzerland-based pharmaceutical firm with an annual revenue of over 58 billion Swiss francs back in 2020. And now, the reason I have chosen Roche as firstly, because they value brand name cultivation. Secondly, because Switzerland has a very similar situation to Taiwan in terms of human resource, in terms of natural resource, and that they are also a very small nation in terms of area. Thirdly, is because they have a very complete internet brand name protection strategy, all the way from trade secrecy to product launch. Fourthly, because they value virtual and real world markets equally. Now, this brings me to my first strategy. The first one being step-by-step. Roche has a step-by-step strategy from trade secret to patent, trademark, domain name, and then they launch their product. No matter which sequence it is, they make sure that all these steps are taken before they launch their product in order to protect their brand names. The next one I'm going to share is that quantity counts. Because there's a lot of TLDs and also there's a lot of variants. For example, they can replace an O with a 0, and that a lot of times people may misread and mistype. So which means that they protect all the relevant domain names. And this data was collected back in 2016. So we can see that back then already they have registered a lot of domain names to protect their brand names. Now, this moves on to my third strategy, which is deter infringements, that they value their brand name so that even afterwards, after the product launch, they still continue to file for UDRPs, which is a domain dispute resolution filing. We can see that over 10 years, Roche has filed over 350 filings to protect their brand names. From these 3 slides, we can see that Roche values their brand name so much that they protect their brand name before product launch and even after product launch, and with the use of domain names as well. Thank you, David.
Oh, okay. So what you have gathered so far was from your explanation, the Ross case is using the names as one of the protection method to so-called enable themselves and to use the domain as the key element in driving the digitization. I think that's actually a quite interesting way of using it. But in the case of pandemic, I believe that everybody know that it changes our daily life. How different has this impacted this SME in your economy itself?
Okay, in Taiwan, the pandemic has changed people's lifestyles. The pandemic has changed industry developments. It even changed business models and also changed government's ability to govern. To provide some examples, the changing lifestyle, people have shifted their shopping habits from in-store shopping to a more online shopping, which means we can see more online shopping, or maybe asking people to bring it in for them by placing orders online. And also with respect to government's ability to govern, in order to keep all the functions operational, our government has managed to set up systems so that governmental employees can work from home. And I believe all these changes are gaps that SMEs can come in and fill gaps and prosper on. Thank you, David.
Right. Hey, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom, for your so-called great introduction and also your explanation about how the digital adoption being used in your economy itself. Now, for the general audience, should you have any questions on Q&A, we do have the Q&A pods available for you to raise your question so that this question will be answered live. You can raise a hand should you have any question as well. And you can type it into the Q&A pod. Those of you who join us from YouTube, you can key in your question in the comments and we'll take it from there and we'll post it into the Q&A pod and it'll be answered live during the session. Okay, you give it a moment.
Sure.
Tom, there is a question here. I think they put into the chat. It will be interesting to see the change from 2019 to 2021, where the pandemic in general have driven online shopping and getting businesses online.
Okay, that's a very interesting comment, and I'll definitely take that in mind for the next preparation. Thank you very much.
Okay. Right. Okay. If you don't have any question, sure, you can always post the question later. You have a question? I think we should move on to our next speaker. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, David.
So we would like to segue to Mingfen. Hello, Mingfen. Welcome.
Yes.
You're the second. Yes. How are you?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay, great. So, Mingfen, for the general audience, could you give a brief on your organization so that the audience actually get to know who is 22net?
Yes, sure. Nice day, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for inviting me to participate in this webinar. Let me introduce our organization. 22net Inc. is a new digitalization service provider which used to be named as e-business service. We have two business sectors, including the intellectual property business and the marketing SaaS, which is software as a service system. The service we offer to our customer, including domain name registration, domain name brokerage, SL certificates, cloud computing server, and the application for trademark, copyright, patent, and legal service for intellectual property. We also provide the service such as building website and making SaaS system. We help our clients realize marketing with SaaS middle platform, linking clients with domain names, promoting brands with trademarks, intellectual property protection, and the innovative ideas being promoted to the market, business being attracted into the system, clients coming themselves, doing sales automatically, and offering service online. Our service does help you make your enterprise bigger, focusing on your strength.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Mingfen. I think that's quite a good brief of on your organization. Okay. Now, perhaps the next question I would like to ask you is, could you tell us what are these digital initiatives that 22net has done in helping the SME in China using domain name, and how it helps in the SME in your economy? Now, if you do have any slide to show, you can always show your slide here.
Yes. Can you see the slides?
Yes.
Okay. This is the slides for our business sectors. Our program LTD Marketing SaaS facilitates the enterprise in digitalization, upgrading by helping them to build the ecosystem of the private domain, lead the traffic of March ends, including the official websites or web mini programs, official malls, and the name cards of our official mini marketing system to form a traffic pool. and integrate them into the back end. And then classify the kinds for the management, thus converting the public domain traffic to the traffic of our own private domain. And the first step one is converting the public domain traffic to the traffic of our own private domain. This is the first step of our program, LTD marketing. And our SaaS system also gathers marketing context, such as articles, videos, Q&As, documents, and so on, and distribute them via the 9 leading media, including WeChat official accounts, handle the platform of ByteDance, Weibo, and Baidu Smart Mini programs, and so on. This would help to publicize the brand images of the enterprise, promote the accessibility of distribution and sharing, and improve the conversion percentages of obtained clients through traffic leading. And the third step is the system also accumulates the clues of the obtained clients from all channels, manage the potential clients from the bank of the official mini marketing system and its corresponding app, classify the clients by elaborating tags, and the analyze on the client's actions. This data help us, our clients' sales team, to master the sales opportunities at any time. Thus, no business opportunity will be missed. And the final step is the system also adds up the statistics of the official websites, all web mini programs, official malls, name cards of the mini marketing system together, collect the client's interactive data of forms, media, and visitors. These statistics facilitate our clients to realize full marketing and making the data great value. Thank you, David.
Okay, so your 3-step approach, with the last step covering the getting feedback and as well as the statistical information about the program being run. I think it's a very good idea of ensuring that whether the program is successful or not. So from the other angle, I would like to ask you is how many customers or enterprises are you serving now? And maybe you can also share who are these customers that have benefited your programs.
Okay, sure, Derek. Currently, we have served more than 15,000 enterprises, and more than 10,000 are still serving. Some well-known ones include Shanghai Hero Pen Company, Zhejiang Jingye Accounting Firm, Xiamen Realtor Bathroom Company, and Beijing Tianya Group Company. First one is a company as Shanghai Hero Gold Pen Factory. You can see this case one. The whole network exposures is about the 5.2 million. Let me explain this data. The statistics counted is coming from both the searching manager and the customer's own social media accounts, which bonded with the WeChat, 知乎, Weibo, ByteDance, 快手, Douyin, Baidu, Baijia, Tencent, and UC, and so on. This will be reflected in this one, 5.2 million. We will count it. It will be counted as the exposures once the customer's website URL appears in the search results. When the visitors when the visitors click the link into the page view will be counted as addition time. Then we will reflect this data in this way. This is the unique visitors. About in this case, it's about 385,961 about this date. The date counted so far is the amount of the visitors who come into visit customers' official website, as well as the mini programs. The volume of this data, the volume of business opportunity cruise has the 27,483. This will be counted as the all cruise that the customer will receive the cruise. And this is the also the interactive visitors who leave message on customers' official website, including the telephone calls, communications on QQ, the pop-up of WeChat QR codes. It will be all reflected in this data. The volume of the members, 19,805. This is the member who directly registers through their official websites. Some companies, the nature of the operation is making the orders offline. This case, it is make an order online, so they have this too many customers. And in next case, this data is the same. He has the time point million and has the visitor unique visitors has this data. And the cruise is he have 1,505. And because these customers is not open the customer sign up function online, they make the order offline. So this is not too much. The remaining data is on this one. This slide, the remainder data is article or image or videos that published by customers' own social media accounts. And we will have them count the volume of reading and forwarding. All the data will be counted in this slide. This is the second example. And the third example is the same. Thank you, David.
All right, Yingfen, I think that's quite interesting, especially you trying to put some comparison between three of these use cases of customer. One with the Gold Pen, which is the one who manufacture pen itself, and they're gone online, and you can see their so-called the orders as well as their clicks, the number of clicks and acceptance on the market is a lot more higher than the other two. I think that's a very good insight about enabling some of these to be digitized. I hope these two other use cases you have, they're actually going online, and maybe we can see some additional information about the so-called the success of it in the next coming what I call webinar that we're going to have with you. Okay.
Okay.
So that's great. So thank you, Yingfen. Now we'd like to introduce our next speaker. Next speaker is Faris. Welcome, Faris.
Hi, David. Good morning.
Morning. Okay, so Yingfen, you can unshare your screen. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Yingfen. Right, Faris. Okay, so for the general audience, could you give a brief about MyDomestic background?
Okay, good morning to the distinguished audience as well, wherever you are from. I'm Faris, the CMO for MyDomestic. So David, before I go further, allow me to share my screen, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, basically, MyDomestic is the sole registry operator of .my domain name, and we are actually an agency under the Ministry of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia that spearheads the National Digital Economy Initiative. So we've been here since 1987, which means we are 35 years old now. And we can say that we are amongst the pioneer in Malaysia to advocate the importance of digitalization. And we are also we are regulated by Malaysia Communication and Multimedia Agency, MCMC. So basically we are focusing in three major aspects, namely is providing the domain name leadership in Malaysia, providing security to the national DNS, and as well as finally provide human capital development program in the context of increasing the adoption of .my domain names, especially for the SMEs market. We are also part of the Malaysia National Critical Information Infra, and in addition, actually, this is our role in the national digital adoption according to the National E-commerce Strategy Roadmap 2.0 that was launched last year, whereby, as you all can see, there are 5 bubbles, the steps, the process for digitalization for the SME, and we are playing a crucial part in the first 2 bubbles, which are the digital presence as well as e-commerce. And today, we are also part of the committee members for all the digital economy and e-commerce initiative to provide strategic insights in developing the blueprints and the policies that will benefit the nation as a whole. Yeah, that's all about MyNIC.
Okay, right. I think that's a very good introduction about MyNIC and the things that MyNIC is actually doing. And the key elements here is actually digital presence and e-commerce. Now, that's perhaps in line with what we want to ask on the following things. Okay, so Faris, what are the SMEs Digital Initiative Program MyNIC has done in promoting the digital adoptions?
Okay, if let's say you look back at the records in previous years, we have several initiatives, and we keep improvising them for it to be more in depth, based on the frameworks and methodology, so that it would suit the present trends as well as it might anticipate, right? What might shape the future of digitalization adoption for better execution. So finally, we came up with something towards the end of 2020. Towards the end of 2020, we launched a program that we call PRIME. PRIME is actually an acronym derived from our local language, which is Program Realisasi Impian Ekonomi Digital. Its main focus is basically to transform SMEs from offline to online, and how .my domain name can actually add value to the cause and enable more SMEs to scale higher, acquire sustainability, as well as to be future-proof. So initially, we started the program with 11 ministries, agencies, and the states as our collaborators, because we cannot do it alone, because of due to the limited resource that we have. And to date, we have more than 40 of them. The collaborators consist of ministries, agencies, states, the NGOs, SME associations, as well as universities. And on top of that, we introduced another strategy, which is we introduced the MyNIC affiliate program. So who are the members of this MyNIC affiliate programs? They consist of the private digitalization coaches, training academies, digitalization academies, so on and so forth. So what we do with them, all right, on top of our resellers, we introduce the revenue sharing, right, for them to help us to promote .my domain name to their market. So basically, so this is the one that I mentioned just now, MyDomestic Initiative. This is the PRIME. This is PRIME actually consists of 3 main pillars. The first one is actually digital branding. All right. So the main focus under digital branding is to increase the adoption of .my domain name for SME transformation from offline to online. Yes, admittedly, at present we do have 10 domain categories, starting from the 2nd level domain name, which is .my, up to the 3rd level domain name, which is .com.my, so on and so forth. So particularly for this PRIME program, we introduced a new domain name category, which is biz.my. All right. So to encourage more entrepreneurs, to encourage more SMEs who are offline, we give them free 20,000 biz.my domain names. Yeah, we give them for free for 1 year, and then for the renewal for the next 3 years, they just pay 90 ringgit, or more or less it's around 20 USD. Yeah, 20 USD for 3 years. And then the second pillar, we have the digital platform, because a domain name without a support software or apps means nothing, they cannot use. Yeah, so the main purpose of this digital platform is provide a platform that can support them, right, to play around, because under this biz.my, it's totally a seeding program, developmental program. So we have the MyDX that we are going to launch very soon, which is Malaysia Digital Directory, given free to them. And then we have the go-to, and we have a website builder. So the go-to is the one that we are giving free together with biz.my domain name. So we are offering 20,000 digital marketing application known as go-to brand standard for them to use. This is actually to introduce them, all right, the importance of digital branding in the digital economy era, because digital branding nowadays is paramount, right? Especially for them to go online. And the final pillar is actually the human capital building program. This is where we conduct our training. We equip the entrepreneurs with digital entrepreneurship and technological skills, because these are the things that some of them are lacking. All right. So we have different types of trainings, yeah, and our training modules are actually, it has been certified by the London Examination Board of UK, and also it's being adopted by some local universities. Okay, these are our prime training program. We have a free webinar, all right? So during this free webinar, we are offering them the free biz.my domain name as well as the go-to brand. So normally, how do we do this free webinar? It's either via FB Live, right? Via FB Live. The second one is via collaboration with our collaborators. They will gather all their entrepreneurs. So normally we do it via Zoom, yeah, via Zoom. And then we have one-day training. It is intensive digital marketing technique focusing on social medias, such as Facebook, IG, WhatsApp Business, how to use WhatsApp Business for their businesses. And finally, we include TikTok after finding out that the conversion rates and the view for TikTok is much greater than Facebook. So for this training, we include handholding and monitoring for 3 months. And finally, we have the 3 days training, whereby this one on top of the social media marketings, yeah, we teach them how to build, how to develop a website for them. All right, a website, full e-commerce website. And we include another module, which is SEO Google Ads. And this one also include with the monitoring and a holding session for 3 months. So for 2021, we managed to train around 21,000 SMEs, yeah, from the micro up to the SMEs. And if let's say we look during the pandemic time, during the MCO in 2020, so how do we conduct our trainings? All trainings are conducted via online. And then in 2021, we start the hybrid, yeah, online and on-premise. That's how we do.
Okay, Faris, actually this is very interesting. Your program actually is a combo, and you have the enablement, which actually touches on how do they use the domain name. The other one is actually adding in the capability to help them in getting on board quickly, like MyDX, then go-to, and the website builder. And the last one, actually the hand-holding on the training, which is actually provide them a very good platform so that when they started, SME started to work on it, they are not left alone. They are actually guided all the way through until they reach a point whereby they can be self-sustained. I think this is a very good approach. In fact, I see that there are 3 kind of diversification between the speakers, so how they actually enable or digitize the so-called SME. Now, interesting enough, in this case, right, how MyNet make use of the domain name in helping the SME?
Oh, actually, this is a big thing to discuss, David. All right, it's like this. Initially, yeah, during the earlier period, prior launching Prime, we made a visitation tour to all the ministries and related agencies, just to get them to understand. Because if you can see, most of the people nowadays, on the ground, they would prefer to use social medias as well as e-marketplaces for them to go online, right? For their online presence. So when we look at the trend, it's quite worrying because we receive plenty of surveys, we receive plenty of feedbacks from the market, yeah, that they cannot compete. All right, they cannot compete. It's very hard for them to penetrate overseas to international market. And on the e-marketplaces platform, there are so many competition, especially from the overseas market, because they are selling generic product and they cannot compete in terms of pricing, especially. And if let's say we look at the US e-commerce Department of Commerce reports on e-commerce in Malaysia, we can see that most Malaysian, they purchase from China, Korea, Taiwan, Japan, Singapore, and Malaysia is at the 6th place. So how do we actually change the game? Yeah, how do we actually change the game? That is why it is very imperative for us to go to all the ministries, to go to all the agencies to make them understand the importance of how my domain name can actually support and add value to their existing programs. How this .my domain name can actually help the SMEs, right, to scale further. So that's the thing that we first did, yeah. And now they are supporting our initiative when they realize that .my domain name can actually add the value that they have been looking so much. This is the missing piece, all right? This is the missing piece. And then they start to gather their SME. They start to gather the SME. And from there, we conduct the training. But the first thing that we tell them is about the basic foundation of online business in the digital economy era, whereby we are stressing about the importance of digital branding first, because they do not really understand what digital branding is. So we teach them about how to establish and protect their digital identity. So it can be done using a domain name, a social media, and e-marketplace. But then if let's say we focus particularly in social media, it's quite hard for them, all right, to protect, all right, to protect the social media accounts, because anyone at any time, they can copy your page, they can create the same name. Right? So when they have a domain name and they put their domain name, whether it's linked to using the GoTo brand, link it to their direct WhatsApp, or link it to their other social media platforms, or link it to their website, it shows that their page is legit. And the second part, we teach them about visibility. Visibility is very important in online business, right? After they have established and they have protect, they need to do digital marketing. They need to have digital content. If let's say they have a website, they must know how to have a proper SEO strategy. And then if let's say they are having social medias, how they want to increase the impression, engagement, conversion, so on and so forth. And finally, how to do a proper marketing in marketplace, because in marketplace, it's quite hard for them to have their own product campaigns or branding campaigns. It can only be done when they have a proper online presence. And finally, when they have visibility, there's a chance for them to sell. So when they sell, they can get a good review. When they have plenty of good reviews, compliments, credits, that's where they will create their credibility. So all these three things, it comes handy when they understand they must have the identity, visibility, and credibility. And these are what we call today as digital branding. On top of that, we teach them, we tell them, we train them to understand about the importance of e-commerce ecosystem. Because most of the SME, they tend to look only at social media, social messengers, and e-marketplace, and they neglect the importance of website, yeah, being their own digital premise under their full control. Because in other platforms, third-party platforms, they are unable to have a total control. There are some restrictions, terms, and conditions that they need to abide to. But in their website, they can put anything. They can say anything, yeah, as long as it's permitted according to the law. So, and then we preach to them about the importance of search engine as well. For this, for today, I'm particularly referring to Google search engine. Because why? Because Google search engine is controlling 90% of the market share in the world. And in Malaysia, 99% of Malaysians are using Google, right? Are using Google. So that is what the most important thing that they need to understand. If let's say they manage to complete this ecosystem of of online businesses, of e-commerce, this is what they're going to get. This is the most visited websites in Malaysia in 2020, yeah, for example. So if let's say we look at the trend here, how many Malaysians use Google on daily basis? All right, 20 million Malaysians use Google on daily basis, plus YouTube, 8.2 million users. All right, so if let's say they have a proper online presence, yeah, David, if let's say they have a proper online presence, easily they can be found. There's a potential for them to be discovered almost 30 million times a day. Combined with all the ecosystems of e-commerce, they can be found almost 38 million times a day by the local audience. Because we know today that Google search algorithms are more localized in nature. So that's how we train these people. Yeah, that's how we train these people. Other than we handhold them for several months, keep following up with them, we monitor their progress. And then if it's every 2 weeks, we come and see them. So those kind of things.
All right. Faris, this information here, I think also coincide to what we have did a webinar on the SEO. And that was stresses on the importance of how the SEO itself play a great part in the e-commerce. Yeah.
We also tell them, we also educate them about the importance of .my domain name. Yeah, the advantage of .my domain name. It's all about education and awareness. So we educate the SME directly. Yeah. So if let's say they know how .my can actually strengthen your digital branding and increase their level of trustworthiness when going online. Why I'm saying this? Because today, only Malaysian and companies registered in Malaysia can register for .my. So whenever they are applying for .my domain name, of course, they will go through certain validation processes. For individual, we will be asking for a copy of their identification card. And for companies, we will be asking for their certificate of establishment. Yeah. So we will double check, cross-check all these documents. So if let's say it's legit, then only we will approve the application. Compared to other GTLD, whereby there is no validation process. Anyone can apply for it, right? But for .my, yes, we have that. That is why it can eventually increase their level of trustworthiness going online.
Yeah, I think that perhaps actually one of the key thing when you do business online, it has to be trustworthiness, and in fact that will affect a digital brand, and a brand is something which is being built on, and by providing this so-called knowledge to all these SME, they will know where to begin. And I believe that this sounds like some sort of fundamental things that each of the SME should have.
It's correct, David. It's correct, because as the e-commerce getting matured, day by day, it's hard to actually fulfill, to satisfy the demands, the needs of consumers who are getting more sophisticated, who are becoming more aware about the security, right, about their data and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Okay, Faris, it was this is actually very interesting indeed, and hearing from 3 different perspectives in terms of how the digitization for SME is being carried out. Now we actually come to the Q&A, so I'd like to remind everybody, if you have any questions, you can actually put it into the Q&A pot. If you have questions, you're coming from YouTube, just put into the comment, and then we'll take it from there. We'll copy and then put it into the pot itself, Q&A pot, and then to answer it live. And if you want to raise your hand during the time, I think by all means, you can actually do that, and we actually answer things like. Now over here we have 2 questions from the audience. This is from Benny Samuelson. He's named SRS, and he says that a very interesting initiative. Can they move the e-commerce to any hosting provider of their own choice, or are they locked to the provider? I think this question, perhaps I can direct it to Faris. Maybe you can give your thought about this.
Okay, at this. Yes, they can move to any hosting provider at their choice.
Okay, so this is actually quite open. They're not locked down for any case, right?
Yeah, they are not locked down.
Okay, right. Okay. Now we also have another question here. If business partners in APAC region wanted to explore and promote their business in Malaysia, are they eligible to get the .my domain too? No, I think this is, perhaps I would direct it to Faris. You can answer this question.
Okay, if let's say they are foreign, yeah, but if let's say they have local presence and they have their branch registered here, yes, they can get a .my domain name. But for international parties, right, who do not have any local presence, please bear with us, be patient, because we are going to globalize .my domain name by the Q4 this year. Then you can get a .my domain name too.
Okay, that's good news. In fact, I think some of this audience here may be glad to know this possibility of this such an opening available for them to jump in. Right. Now, okay. So if you have any questions, okay, we have another one from Lu Aiching. Okay, does any impact on the domain name industry due to pandemic?
Yes.
Do you have some measurement or promotion strategy corresponding to the pandemic wave, if there has an impact? So perhaps I will actually give this question to Faris first and later to Mingfen. Okay, so I'll start with you, Faris.
Hi Liu Aichin, thanks for asking. Yeah, okay. Actually, we do have an impact. If let's say we look at the trend of MyDomestic domain growth year on year, all right, we are generating around 7 to 8% growth. But then again, during the pandemic, especially in 2020, all right, okay, normally our registration is around 30,000 a year, 35,000 a year. But in 2020, we managed to record 50,000 new domain registrations, right? 50,000 new domain registration, because in 2020, it was a total lockdown. But then again, when the procedures are getting more relaxed in 2021, we can see there's a reduction in terms of new registration. So in 2020, we recorded around 43,000 new registration, because when the market is open back, some of these SMEs, they lost the heat, yeah, they lost the steam to go online. So these are the things, these are some of the challenges they are facing right now. We just need to educate them to go online, just to prepare for anything which we do not know what's going to happen, which is going to happen in the future.
Okay, thanks, Faris. Mingfen, would you have some thoughts about this question that Aichin has asked?
I think the pandemic is just the have the impact on our life habits. It's not. I think it does not do not have too much impact on the domain industry. This becomes more customers to do their business online. So I think it's not too much. If it really helps, I think we have the measures or the promotion strategies to help them have these SMEs to continue to do their business and become the bigger. Thank you.
Okay. Now, since I can see Tom here, maybe Tom, you have any thoughts about this question?
Regarding this question, I feel that the pandemic, as I stated previously, it changed everyone's lifestyle. So I feel that having an online presence definitely matters during the pandemic, and that I'm sure it has an impact, but not necessarily on the domain industry, but I feel that it has more impact on the SMEs. And this is what I feel from my end. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Tom. Now we do have another question from the Q&A pod. Rowan Madania, I hope I pronounced your name correctly, from LKDR. So this question is actually directed to Faris. You mentioned about digital platform with website builder and etc. How do you provide these additional services? Is it by partnering with third-party provider, or you develop these services in-house and offer to customers?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ruan. It has been a while since we last met. Yeah, we last met in Dubai, I think in 2018 or 2019. Okay. Yes. How do we provide these additional services? Is it by partnering with third-party providers? Okay, some are just like the go-to, just like the go-to brand standard, we develop it in-house. So for the Malaysia Digital Directory, it's also in-house. But for the website builder, that one, we are actually partnering, collaborating with the third-party providers.
Okay, right, that's great. Okay. So over here also, I think our services, the services that you are doing now is actually collaborative. I think that's pretty good. Now,
that's the fastest because e-commerce in Malaysia is booming, David. Just to share some information with the audience over here. In 2020, Malaysia recorded 890 billion e-commerce transactions. That's almost a trillion. That covers with all the value-added services, right, in 2020. And in 2021, as of September, the same amount recorded in 2020, we have already achieved in September 2021. And in Malaysia, there are around 21 million online purchases from Malaysia. 21 million online purchases ranging from 16 up to 75 years old. So it's a huge market in Malaysia. If let's say the SME, they can leverage on this data, they know where to target. I think they do not have to export it outside. From the local market, so they still can generate a lot of revenues.
Okay, I think that's a very good insight. Now, I think in the essence of time, we like to continue on. I think those of you who do have any more questions that can keep posting into the Q&A, and then we answer it live or answer through the text itself. Okay. Now, let's. I think we have one more question. Maybe I should take this one first. Then we actually move on. This is by Afik Amar from MCMC. It is great and commendable initiative needed. In terms of sustainability, what is the percentage of the returning SME, and especially when promoting or additional services is no longer applicable, will that impact the SME digitization adoption? Faris, so maybe you can take up this question with from Afik.
Okay, in the context of promotion and additional services which is no longer applicable, actually it's no longer applicable. Actually, we enhance the promotion or we add value to the additional services that we previously have, so that they will have a continuation. Because in developing the SMEs, we always believe in continuation. There is no way that we are going to stop so that they do not know where to go. It's all about continuation. It's about upgrading them from one level to the next level. Just like today, we know that the micro SME definition is for those who earns below 300,000 ringgit a year. So one of our main objective is how to move them, to shift them from MSME level to the SME level. That is why we have a continuous promotions and as well as services for the Malaysian individuals as well as companies.
Okay, thank you, Faris. So let's continue on to the next area, which we would like to ask all the speakers here. Now, since we touched on the SMEs and the digitalizations of the approach and then how to enable them, and it actually came from three different perspectives from three different economies. So now the next key question, perhaps, people would like to know. I mean, we hear from the success part of it, okay, from both the public and private initiative. Now, and then so far we know that the outcome of this initiative behind the scene are also quite challenging. Okay, so nothing here is actually what we're hearing is easy. So in the area of challenges, so let's start with Tom. Okay.
Yes,
hello,
David.
Tom.
Yes, David.
So,
please go ahead.
From your perspective, okay, what will be your main challenge or perhaps any takeaway that you would like to share with the audience when you do this initiative yourself?
I would like to share that two challenges for in terms of digitalization for Taiwan's SME includes skilled personnel, basically, in terms of hardware and software, because we all know that having a fully functioning website requires both of these types of people, that you need good hardware and good programs so that everyone can access your website and purchase your products. And in terms of challenges for the .tw registry, we believe that comes from a different perspective. That the new GTLDs are coming up and that they have a different type of correlation and they are more creative in comparison to national CCTLDs like .tw registry, which is deemed to be more localized. Thank you, David.
All right, so yours is more towards getting SME on board, and the skill is one of the key elements here. Software and hardware also one of those things, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's ask the same thing to Mingfen. Mingfen, let's hear from you. What are your challenges faced in your growing economy in adopting the use of the .cn by your SME, and what ideally would you like to see from the ecosystem to improve the digital adoption?
Yes, actually, most internet users in China don't know what a domain name is, and they never know they can register a domain name of their own, because most users' internet continuation is brought to them by the big platforms. The general education logic of the platform is that the platform is all the internet of users. Therefore, we have always been devoting ourselves in telling all the users the knowledge about the domain names and the importance of owning their own independent official websites. And the most challenge faced by SMEs in China is relying too much on large third-party platforms to develop their business, which has led to the continuous loss of customers' data and assets, which are controlled by third-party platforms, not in your own end. Most SMEs have no independent domain name nor independent website, just thinking that the cost of building the traditional website is too high, requires a lot of research and development costs and advertising costs, and there is no support from experienced tech staffs. Yes, Derek.
Okay, so yours is actually on the know-how, as almost similar to what Tom has mentioned, and the other impending thing is the cost of managing or even doing the domain, the website itself. I think that's the key thing, and those sort of things I believe that can be easily overcome if the proper initiative can be done there. Okay.
Yes.
All right, then next come to Faris. Let's hear from Faris. Could you share what your major challenges and how would you do it differently? I know that you have spoken quite a fair bit on this, in fact, hearing from you. So let's see your opinion on this area.
Okay, there's a booklet of challenges they are facing. Actually, there are plenty of it, right? But in summary, it divided into the macro and as well as the micro. So on the macro level, is actually to have the standardization of digitalization training modules, because we have more than 100 agencies in Malaysia that's involved in digitalization trainings. Yeah, so we need to have a clear separation here. Who will do digitalization and who will do such as the business admin, accounting, everything and things like that. If everybody wants to conduct digitalization training, then it's going to be a mixture of approach, right? That's hard for us to measure, to scale. But thankfully, a week ago, all the 13 ministries and their agencies, we sat together to sort this out, okay, and we are reaching towards a proactive conclusion for that. And we are also thankful to some of the ministries in Malaysia to support MyNIC. So what happened is they issued an instruction to all the agencies to include .my domain name and our Prime initiative as part of the criteria for the SMEs to apply for digitalization grants or loans or any assistance from the government. So we are thankful for that. So we are moving towards that direction. And then now it's about identify who should be in the specific steps, right? How to monitor, when to upgrade, right? Okay, those are at the macro level. So at the micro level, it's about reaching the SMEs. It's hard to reach all the SMEs because they are scattered all over, right? In the town area, it should be okay. What about for those in the rural area? What about for those who are not that tech savvy? What about those who use social medias to socialize? All right, they do not know. A business person who use social media to socialize, they do not understand. They do not know how to take advantage, okay, of how to use those digital platforms. And finally, to increase awareness, on the importance of domain name as well as having a website as their sole digital premise that will be the foundation for them to succeed in their online businesses by having supported by all the ecosystem of e-commerce. So those are.
Oh, okay. Faris, just offline a bit. Okay, if is something that you want to do, let's say it was something that you would like to do differently, how would you want to do it in the case of this SME adoption for digitalization?
Okay. How would I like it to be?
Yes.
It would be nice, right? It would be a dream for MyNIC that Malaysia will set that .my must be subscribed by all the businesses in Malaysia.
Yeah, okay.
But we cannot do that, as per se, we cannot do that, yeah, because I know we need to open up some rooms. It's about liberalization, right? Things like that.
Yeah, I think that would be a good choice, especially when the things that I hear from three of you. First one, from Tom, the common things that I can hear from these three. First one, it's always the case about the content of the website. What actually you need to put in there. Then second one is the cost related to maintaining it. That one is a skill side that you require to get this going. And I believe that this do come back to one of the fundamental things, which is how do we get these people on board by providing them the necessity tools, the basic element tools to get them into it. So if someone can get over these hurdles, I believe that it will actually provide the capability and also enable them to go through. I mean, especially on cases like what's cited by Tom and Mingfen, how you guys put things together to help them to drive forward. And from Faris, we're talking about the area of hand holding. I think is a key element here to give them the necessary tool to move them forward. So this is something which I find that is quite a task, okay, to do. It's not so easy as some people may thought it to be. Now, we just want to hear from you guys, okay? We're coming up with the DNS forum that's on the 30th of March and to 1st of April 2022, so which is this year. So during this APAC DNS forum, maybe just want to hear from you. What would you like to see or you like to discuss about in the upcoming forum? Maybe we'll start with Tom. Perhaps some of your input here. What you want to hear?
I was thinking maybe a call for applications to demo UA, maybe something of that in that perspective, David.
Oh, why UA?
Came to mind, and I thought it might be a good opportunity as well for everyone to understand it as well.
Okay, I think
thank you, David.
Okay, okay. Mingfen, how about you? What do you think you would like to see in the upcoming APAC DNS forum, or what people want to discuss or achieve from it? Hi, Mingfen, your mic is mute. Unmute it first.
We just Yeah, yeah, we just want to, we are looking forward to learning more new knowledge in the APAC DNS forum. Yeah.
Okay, learning something new. Huh? Okay, so looking forward, actually can impart some new knowledge to you as we coming towards that. And how about you, Farid? What do you think will you like to see in the APAC DNS forum, or we want to discuss about during the time?
Okay, from my context, I would like to echo from what my fellow panelists just shared just now. Additionally, I would love to have a sharing from other countries such as Australia, such as New Zealand, such as Korea. How do they actually proliferate the adoption of their CCTLD, and what are the initiatives they do currently actually to help their SMEs?
Okay, I think that will be a very good area to speak about, especially coming from different economies. And with that itself, you can provide some different perspective towards how a developed economy versus what they call that a growing economy actually does the digital adoption itself. Okay, so I'd like to thank you all three of you speakers here. But before everybody goes off, we do have one more speaking slot, and this speaking slot, I would like to hand over to Pam Little. She would like to give a bit of presentation about the upcoming ICANN nomination committee. Okay, and I'm not, and she would like to give a bit of a presentation here. Now, Pam, are you here?
I'm here. Thank you, David.
Right, Pam. Okay, Pam, the floor is yours. So there you go.
Thank you, David. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Okay, can you let me know if you are seeing the non-com screen?
Yeah, clear. We can see it.
Clear.
Very good. Thank you so much. And thank you for the organizers to give me a few minutes to promote the non-com 2022 application round. I also want to acknowledge my non-com colleague, Brajesh here. I can see him in the room, and Brajesh obviously has been in non-com previously. This is my first time in non-com, so I'm a newbie to non-com, the nominating committee. Brajesh, you probably have seen him or met him before in his role as a non-com delegate from the address supporting organization. So hi, Brajesh. I will invite you to maybe just to speak later on if I miss anything. So firstly, I will be very brief. This is really just about share with the colleagues here from the Asia Pacific region, this yearly exercise, you know, the nominating committee is tasked to do to select certain leadership position within the ICANN ecosystem. And for those of you, I just heard one of the speakers said earlier that some of the customers or folks they deal with, one of the challenges, people don't even know what a domain name is. And for some of you, you probably some of you probably didn't know or didn't know much what the nominating committee of ICANN is. So here is the structure of the non-com. I didn't know much about non-com either. For those who don't know me, I was on the GNSO Council for 4 years, and 3 years of that as a vice chair from the registrar stakeholder group. So you can see the non-com structure here, which is quite different to other ICANN structures. So it has 15 voting members and a number of non-voting members. And the voting members you can see here, the composition is also quite unusual in that ASO has 1, CCNSO has 1, and 7 from GNSO, and 5 from ALAC, right? And they even has 1 from the IETF on behalf of IAB. So this is a very, to me, quite a unique structure. And I am representing I'm registrar as the appointed delegate to non-com, and Brajesh is obviously, as I said, representing ASO. But although we are delegates appointed by our respective community groups, we are actually supposed, we we are supposed to act independently. We are not a non-com going to advocate, for example, applicants from the registrar stakeholder group, in my case, or in Bajaj's case from the ASO. We really are there to select the best people to fill these roles. So this is supposed to be an independent nominating committee, not acting in any way that will be sort of favor our affiliation or anything. So this is a structure I thought I will share with you in case you're not quite familiar. And within NANCOM, we also divide our work into subcommittees. Within the committee, we have subcommittee, and Bajaj and I and myself are in, and others are in this outreach committee. So that's why we're here, going to our community groups where we feel people might be interested in applying for this leadership position. So we are looking for people and leaders from the community, especially from the Asia Pacific region. I think our colleagues, those of you on this call, you probably know already, within the ICANN multiple structures or working groups, oftentimes we see very few people from our region, and that is something we've been working on, trying to make changes. And I think these positions also provide an opportunity to make sure we have more people from this region. So what are these positions from this slide? I hope you can see just one slide for all the 8 positions NANCOM is tasked to select this year. 3 board members, ICANN board members, and 1 PTI board member, and 2 ALEC representatives. These 2 are supposed to they have geographic diversity requirements. So these 2 are meant to come from North America and Europe, unfortunately. So for our region, it may not be a very good fit. And then 1 from GNS, 1 representative to go to the GNSO and 1 to CSO. These are the 8 positions NANCOM will be looking to fill this year. So what are we actually looking for in candidates? I hope this slide sort of give you a flavor of what it is. Really are looking for people who are leaders in our community, have good understanding or knowledge of the internet ecosystem, maybe have board experience or not for-profit experience. But the main thing I want to stress is really about diversity, right? You can see that we're looking for people not just of cultural diversity, geographic diversity, but also their professional and skill set diversity, to make sure in these different structures or this role we are going to feel it will be a good balance within each particular body, for example, within ICANN board or within CCNSO or the GNSO. In terms of why you should apply, I think that is a very tough question and a big ask. As you know, I think I should let you know, apart from the ICANN board members who they can choose to receive a compensation, all other roles or positions are voluntary. In other words, you're doing all these. If you are selected, you'll be committed to the time and effort required. Some are quite onerous on a voluntary basis. But I think you'll get your reward as well. Really, you make a difference in policy outcome, shaping internet governance, and also you get to meet a lot of people. You know, that's one thing I felt most rewarding, having been involved in the ICANN land over more than 10 years now, is really to meet a bunch of good people, and really some are really very interesting, very intelligent, and you also, I feel it's a very good opportunity for your personal growth as well. So just be aware of the deadline. It actually coincides with, I think, the end of the ICANN 73. So that's 11th of March. The application round was announced, I believe, 15th of December, but then we went into the holiday season, so folks may not have noticed or have not taken any action. So if you are interested, or you believe someone else might be interested, or someone else is a good fit, please help spread the word among your community or your network to make as many people aware of this campaign or this non-com application round as much as possible. So if you want to know about this position, my recommendation really is go to that site, the ICANN website, non-com 2022. You will see a very detailed description of all these positions, because each community group has submitted their job description, if you like, or the requirements or the particular skill set they are looking for in every category. So if you are interested in the board position, you should take a good look at the description or the job description provided by ICANN board or GNSO for that matter, or CCNSO. Take a good look at those job descriptions and see which one fits yourself best. And then there will be a portal take you to fill out your application. And if you have any further questions about these roles, and maybe you would like to have a chat with somebody or other inquiries, probably the best is to email this address, noncom2022@icann.org. We as non-com delegates, we obviously welcome folks from this region to apply, but we, as I mentioned earlier, are supposed to be independent. Some of the questions we may not even be able to answer, or they might be confidential, and maybe for applicants, they also want to be confidential at this stage. So feel free to send an email that is monitored by ICANN non-com support staff. They really are excellent, and they're very knowledgeable and very helpful. So with that, that's all from me. If there's any question, or maybe David, if you will indulge me just to ask whether Brajesh have anything to add.
Yeah, I think, can Brajesh have anything to add? I think.
Nope.
No, okay.
Can I be heard?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your very nice and elaborate description. There is not much to add, but I would just like to add that if there is any query till 11th March, I think I and Pam, as part of outreach, would be willing to answer as best as possible. And if not, we would lead you to the non-com staff, as Pam has already told. But some questions we can be able to handle till 11th March. Post 11th March, our role will become completely neutral, and we will not be able to discuss any candidate after that. Just wanted to add, but please do take time to read, to apply, and this will definitely help our region. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Baraj. And also Pam. Now, before you guys go, we have a little bit of a surprise for those people attending this webinar. Now, we are going to give 3 giveaway, Amazon gift card giveaway to 3 lucky participants. So now, in order for you guys to get these 3 entitled to get this card, what you need to do is fill out a survey form. The link is actually provided below in the chat, as well as you can find it on our website. Those on the YouTube, you can see that we will share this thing out. Now, just fill this up, and then we'll actually announce this winner just before the next webinar. So you will get, if those of you who are, those are you participating now, actually can do this. Just fill up the survey form. The TNC wise is on our website, so you can actually go and check it out. Okay, so now with that, we'd like to end this webinar. Now, so the next topic after this, which is in March, is called the future of the domain name system in March 2022. So I would like to see you guys there in the next webinar. Okay, thank you all, and thank you all for joining. Thank you all the speakers as well. Thanks, Pam, as well.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you, David.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep.